Hey guys, I'm gonna wait for a few people to get notified that I am alive. Boohard Betty is alive. I usually do not come this late in the evening, rather, for any case. You guys hardly ever see me on this late, but there's something that came across one of the social media platforms on Facebook. There's a lot of groups designated for Sebastian Rogers. Sebastian Rogers, right behind me, is the 15-year-old autistic boy that disappeared from Hendersonville, Tennessee, from his home, according to his mother, around 9 p.m. He went to bed. When she awoke, 6 a.m., he was gone. The rest is history. He has not been seen or heard from since. We've gone over a lot of stuff from the family's past, her sister, her stepfather, Katie Proudfoot's sister and stepfather, just a lot of different type of things. And of course, this is kind of the family that just keeps on giving. And so I just received this. As you see, it was from 2 hours ago. But again, this is Facebook, so my notifications don't always come to me, or I don't always see them. But I saw this and I stopped and I'm like, what? Because she said CP responded to someone today in a post from last year regarding the selling of his snakes. The back and forth comments were from today, and now he's threatening with FAFO. I want to act like I don't know what that means, but I think we all know what that means. So what am I talking about, right? Oops, this is what I'm talking about. So this Sally Ernos, I don't know how to spell that. Ennis, is that it? Sally Ennis, maybe? Sally Ennis asks, where's Sebastian, tough guy? And the way that Sebastian is written right here, it seems like somebody that might be from overseas or Canada, maybe. I don't know. It looks like somebody from, I don't know. But anyways, where's Sebastian, tough guy? Sally Ennis, probably in your house. What? Is this really how he's responding to people? This is so Don Wells. This is so freaking Don Wells. It's not even funny. Sally Ennis, probably in your house. Let's just forward this to TBI. And Sally writes, Chris Proudfoot, forward it then. And then he goes on to say, Sally, what makes you think I'm guilty? What proof do you have? He's talking about proof? What proof do you have? I don't know when I've ever heard a parent of a missing child, especially one with special needs and on medication that hasn't had their medication in significant amount of time, be talking and playing games like, oh, this might be in your house, or what proof do you have? Wow. That's all I gotta say. Wow. So again, what proof do you have? Seriously, let me guess. You sit at home and watch whatever you watch and write down all the bullshit that these web sleuths think they know. Chris, I think that's kind of what you do, from my understanding. Interesting. Funny thing is you weren't there, nor have you been involved in the investigation. Well, Chris, call me crazy. Many people do. But didn't you tell us all you weren't there either? I'm just asking for a few friends. I don't know what to say here. Am I supposed to be cracking up? Am I losing my shit? Let me know. The funny thing is you weren't there. Okay, Chris. Is that an admission that you were there? I'm asking for a few friends. I promise. Is that your admission that you were there? Tell me. Come on, Chris. You know you want to tell me the truth. You know you don't. No, you don't. Who am I fooling? Who am I fooling? Good Lord. Let's read this again. I'll try to do it with a straight face. Funny thing is that you weren't there, nor have you been involved in the investigation, and Ellie doesn't talk to you. Oh, that's right. They talk to you a lot, don't they, Chris? I bet they do. I bet they do. So you don't know actually shit now, do you? Do you? Does Chris know shit? I mean, you'd think if Chris knew shit, we'd have a 15-year-old boy sitting at the house. Call me crazy. Call me crazy. Hey, Jules. Nice to see you. Oh, good gracious. This is the gift that keeps on giving. Good gracious. Good gracious. That's right. You don't. See, if I were you, Chris, please, I don't want you to be me. Trust me. And trust me, you don't want to be me, okay? So let's not. And I doubt that this person, Sally Ennis, really wants you to give her advice. I don't think anybody's taking your advice. I don't know. You got a missing kid, okay? I'm just saying. Just saying. So, let's get back. See, if I were you, let's make this crystal clear. See, if I were you, I would just sit back and watch how this all ends, because harassment is a real thing. And so is cease and desist letters. Now you're starting to sound like Bullhorn Betty. Ah, look at that. Chris Proudfoot actually watches and pays attention. Now who's taking notes? Now who's taking notes, Chris? Oh, come on. Come on. Cease and desist letter. That's synonymous to Bullhorn Betty. Ask every hate channel on YouTube. Don't be stealing my stuff. I work very hard. Stuff doesn't come easy. I sit around all night long writing this stuff down. What am I going to say next? Oh, I digress. I digress. All right. Let's get back to the real stuff. Let's get back to the real work here, folks. All right, so where were we? That's right. He would sit around and all this, the harassment stuff is a real thing. Oh, and don't forget the cease and desist letter. Do you have her address? I'm just curious. You know those cease and desist letters need to be mailed? Usually they got to go to the lawful legal address. Chris, come on. Yes, ma'am, you can track down, and I can track down all your information. Now you're starting to sound like the hate channels. They got a little bit of Bullhorn Betty, a little bit of YouTube hate channel all up in here. Chris, who are you these days? Quit watching all of us. You're starting to sound like a bunch of us, okay? You don't know which side of the freaking fence you're on. You're starting to sound like Bullhorn Betty. Is trying to sound like a hate channel. Come on. Come on. Boy, I just did that. Do you guys remember? I just did this show just yesterday of how Katie has all this time to be on social media, and they even bring it up. The ladies even saying it's funny how you and Chris have all the time to read all these messages on Facebook more than you do, than searching for your own son. Like, I just ran with this story yesterday from Katie, and now we got, like I said, it's the gift that keeps on giving. I don't want to make fun of these parents. They make it too damn easy. They make it too damn easy. And not only that, they got a missing kid and they can't tell us where this child is. We saw this child go into their home. We've never seen this child leave their home. Okay? I cut the crap. Where did this child go? This child went into the home, but we never seen the child go outside of the home after Sunday. He went inside. We definitely got him inside the house. It's all a game to you. No one is afraid of you. Sebastian was though. Oh, Sebastian was though. And Chris says, not a game, ma'am. But as the saying goes, FAFO. Was that a threat to Sebastian? Let's reread this. Let's reread the comment above, and let's reread his response below. Christopher Proudfoot, it's all a game to you. No one is afraid of you. Sebastian was, though, not a gay man, but as the saying goes, F-A-F-O. It means F around and find out. That's what it means. F around and find out. So she's not afraid of him, but Sebastian was. And like he says, as the saying goes, F-A-F-O. What did you do to Sebastian, Christopher Proudfoot? Did he fuck around and find out? I definitely kind of the girl that likes to fuck around and find out. I'd like to be schooled. I like strong men like you schooling me all day long. Sure do. Let me see if I can get that tattooed on my ass. I knew I was a biker bitch somewhere. The gift that keeps on giving. And so we have another person that decides to time in on this. And it says, Christopher Proudfoot, you feel big and bad by making threats to women. He sure seems like that kind of man, doesn't he? See, I've had a few of these kind of men in my life, I must say. I gotta say, I have. Got the record to prove it, too. Got the record to prove it. I'd love to see you, Chris. Love to have a conversation there, buddy. Buddy, old pal. Actually, I'm a really good interviewer. I know I sit up here and drag and make comedy, but I mean, in all reality, I am a good interviewer. Chris, you should give me a try. I'm just saying. At least I won't cuss you out. I heard you get cussed out quite a bit. I'm not making this stuff up. I already got cussed out a few times. That's what I'm just saying. Even the interviews tell him to cut this shit. I would never do that. I'd hang up the phone. I'm just joking. I'd let him keep talking. He likes to dig those holes. I'll just give him a shovel. Don't worry. When you come on my show, when you get a shovel this big, we'll let you take your, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, one scoop at a time. I'll be next to him with my shovel, my shovel, trying to get the bullshit out of the boat. Oh, come on, it's funny. It's funny. So Mr. Badass Christopher Proudfoot, once again, he strikes. He likes the women. Chris, back in my day, I don't know about things. I'm a prudy lady. Like, I don't like talking about all the stuff and, the birds and the bees and the, the flowers and the trees, right? I'm not that kind of girl. Just don't. I think life is better off with, some things left in the private, like people's private life. Okay? I'm just saying. I ain't trying to get all up in it. But I do find it awfully funny that it seems like these women out there, Chris, doesn't seem like you're treating them very good there, son. I saw your mama, she doesn't seem like she raised you right, Yeah, you can't just come over to the Bullhorn Betty shit show, I think I got a little belt, a little belt action. Not the good kind. I should be careful. Oh my God, the people on YouTube are going to be blushing by the time this live is over with. This is what happens when I'm too tired. I've been working all day, but I didn't wake up until like 7:30 this morning. So that's like a first in a long time. Usually I'm up at like before it even cracks dawn. So this is one of those lucky days where I actually am piping down at 11 o'clock, but I haven't seen you guys literally all day. Barbecue Lady from TikTok. I heard she's talking some mad cash shit about Bullhorn Betty. The hell's up with that lady? I was actually nice to her. She don't want to be coming over here messing with Bullhorn Betty. Calm down, Barbecue Lady. Go cook some barbecue. Relax. Drink a beer. Do something productive and constructive. Moonlight, I don't know who she was here. It was about wasn't she related to the Kansas moms? And To be honest, barbecue is free. I don't know who she is. Okay, I to be honest with you, I think she caught me on a. I didn't know they were. I thought they were talking about a barbecue lady that was in town. I had no earthly idea that a content creator. I mean, I don't know why I wouldn't think a content creator's name's not barbecue lady, but. I don't know. I guess I thought the barbecue lady was like on the street corner and it had all the information. I didn't know who the barbecue lady was, okay? I thought, it's rural out there. I thought the barbecue lady was truly the barbecue lady. I just thought she was a barbecue lady for the local area. I didn't realize she was a content creator. So naturally, I was a little, kind of like, blonde, okay, for a moment. And then she's in here and I wasn't reading. Why is she? I have no earthly idea. I don't do nothing to people. I must have been too blunt for her. I must have brought the real, okay? I don't know. I must have FO'd. Hey, Chris, what's FAFO mean? Well, I hope she's not upset with me. Even if she is, she can get over it. I mean, people upset with Bullhorn Betty's a dime a dozen. I mean, you don't get it. Trust me, you don't. It does you absolutely no good. To pick a fight with me because I just don't care. Like I don't fight with people. I got better things to do with my time. But this is the one thing that I have a problem with. It's not even just this. It's literally everything. It's the joking. Probably in your house. Like what did you do? What did you do with your son? Like people think that you have harmed this child. They think you harmed this child because of the public display of poor judgment, poor behavior, and the fact that we're seeing where your priorities lie. Made him sleep in the garage. Listen. Yes, it's possible because even I was learning that tonight that on that call, the neighbor said, but here's a couple things that I just want to just throw out and just caution everybody. First of all, I run a call show on my YouTube channel. I actually had call-ins just tonight, right before I came live here. We had almost a little over an hour. What was it? An hour and a half? I don't know. You'll have to ask Sonia in here, Sonia or Karen. Either way, it was like an hour and a half maybe that I was on the live. People call in. When they call in, I'm like, this is Bullhorn Betty. Who are you, and where are you calling from? Right? That's kind of my shtick, right? Who this morning? Hey, you got Betty. Hey, it's Betty. Who are you? Where are you calling from? Blah blah blah. And so the people that call in, they can tell you Joe Schmo, right? They can tell you Barney Rubble. They can tell you that they're my neighbor next door and they have all this, salacious information about me, about my boring life, right? But they can literally, what I'm trying to say is that on these call-ins, they can literally be anyone. Even going up there, taking and putting an emoji up and doing some research. Like I could, the work that I do, I could literally find a house, say Sebastian's house, and throughout my work, within like maybe 5 minutes, I literally have all of their neighbors' names and addresses. Okay. I know it, guys. I know it probably makes you guys feel a little bit brotherish, but it's public information. Unfortunately, very easy for people like me to get a hold of. Okay, and so I would be able to tell you literally all the neighbors that live around the Proudfoots. So now that I know that in literally 2 seconds of work, I can manufacture a name or an account, and I can call in, and now I know what these names are. And as far as like family and stuff like that, it's the same thing through the family tree building and stuff like that. So I'm just saying that there, as many people that are working to give good information, reliable information, there's a lot of people behind the scenes that are looking to troll. You guys know that. You guys have been on social media long enough to know what a troll is, okay? And we're not talking about a cute little thing with funny color hair. We're talking about a very aggravating, annoying a person that has nothing better to do than aggravate people. Let's go to the sleeping in the garage thing. When we were learning of this case early on and at the beginning, I thought it was very interesting that Nancy Grace had asked the question, and I thought it was weird when she asked it, but I knew, because I know Nancy Grace. I don't know her personally, know her, but I think I've watched her enough years that you kind of feel like you know somebody. You kind of learn their personality, at least, maybe not their behind the scenes personality, but the work personality, I think is the best way to describe it. And Nancy Grace, she's just very pointed. She's very pointed. And she had asked him, and I think she always, I almost feel like she has a secret source, like an FBI source, a TBI source, some type of law enforcement source that gets into these cases, because she asked him a question about furniture. And we didn't know where that was going with the furniture. It was, I can't remember exactly what she asked, but he said, I had a mattress in the garage. And it didn't click. I'm thinking cleanup. I'm not thinking that they put this child in the garage. I'm thinking, I wonder if there was a cleanup. These are the things that are going through my mind when we're hearing this. And it was on that Nancy Grace interview. It was the first Nancy Grace interview that they gave. It's when Chris finally admitted that there was no polygraph. He had not taken a polygraph. And here's a bombshell for you guys. And I don't believe it. I'm sorry. I know Nick Barris out there in that community is only just can't kill the messenger, right? He has, been speaking to law enforcement out there, and law enforcement has informed Nick that the parents have passed their polygraph. They're past their polygraph. And so getting back to sleeping in the garage, I don't know where that came from. I know it probably came from, and I know there was a phone call on What's Her Face, and I don't really know what was said. There was somebody that called in my show and gave me a few of the tidbits of what was said on that phone call. I don't know. Having some no-name person that I personally can't corroborate, it's not that I don't believe their story or anything. It's just in on this side of the screen, not on your side of the screen, we have to fact check things. And it's very difficult for, say, me to fact check somebody on somebody else's channel. And I believe that whole sleeping in the garage was from a call-in person. And I don't ever want anybody not to call in or think that, they're going to be attacked or called a liar or something. I'm not calling any of them a liar. I want to be very clear on that. But I do not trust people I can't vet. Because when people call in or corroborate information, like when we do stuff, even if it's off the record or on the record, whether they want to be anonymous or not, there's got to be a level of understanding with them, because I won't put anybody on my show, even if I have to make them anonymous for you, without knowing who they are, period. We've done, Chronicles of Olivia and I have done a few projects together where we've had to keep the people anonymous, and we had to blur out their face, and we had to alter their voice and stuff like that, because one of them was in the Kylie Rodney case. It was one of the party goers. We had to do that. And there was another case that we had to blur and distort. But both of those people, we made them prove who they were and prove where they were before we did anything with them. Some of it was a little hard. And the reason why we did that is because we wanted them to know that we were going to keep them anonymous, but we have to fact check this stuff. I can't just, and that's the thing. You have a story. If you want your story out, I'm trusting you with your story. You've got to trust me with your story as well. There's got to be some type of trust there, but I can't just run a story without, from a person. But call-ins are a little bit different, and you have no control over those call-ins, and I don't know who that person is. Be sure to participate. You guys are doing polls in the chat. I didn't see any polls. Where's the polls? Am I not allowed to participate in my own polls? I feel left out. Top corner. Oh, there it is. Well, look at that. No. I'll be damned. I love that. That is so cool. Neither are the mods. I need to go and adjust my mods. I know I have a few mods that, because when I first started TikTok, it was crazy, and I didn't know about like shadow banning and stuff. But now that I'm where I'm at now, I don't care. I seriously don't care anymore. Shadow ban the shit out of me. I don't care anymore. You know, I utilize this for that, for this. It all circulates. I don't care. You know, if they want to play those, just do it. Do whatever makes you feel good at this point. I don't care. It's not going to stop what I'm doing. And stuff is so annoying sometimes. You know, it really is. You got to quit caring. You know, if you allow it, like this stuff would drain you. Like I got people coming in here, they're pushing a button. It's like, at this point, it's like, really? Okay, let's go up here and figure that. Okay. Ha ha ha. Great thing. What's the update? We're going through Chris Proudfoot. Amber, we have 9. So do you believe Sebastian left his own home? We have 7% that actually believe he did, and almost 93% that believe he did not leave on his own. Did not leave on his own. Interesting. Like the polls. Interesting. Love that. I can be Janine every now and again. You guys catch me later at night. I'm a little funnier because I'm so exhausted. My brain is like literally like a kaput. It's like my brain's like my car at the moment. The car. I said no, but I think he may have from time to time. So getting back to the updates, those people that are just, coming in here to see what's going on, we're not just having a happy hour, I promise. And trust me, there's nothing happy in my hour. No, I'm just joking. But we did get some information about, Chris Proudfoot and some conversations that he's been having on his page. Apparently somebody, I would assume what happened is there must not be any commenting. Oh, what's behind me? Oh, when I lift my hands, see, those are my hats. I got a green screen. So when I lift my hands and it goes into the picture, it takes the stuff away. And that, see if I can do my curtains. Well, I did my curtains the last time. I don't know. It's not doing my curtains this time for some reason. Okay. Well, that's what's behind me. But this is an argument. So I assume that what happened is somebody can't comment on everything. So there was maybe a post that allowed commenting on or something. But there was this weird back and forth between Chris Proudfoot and this person named Sally. And then, of course, another person jumps into it. So those that are just tuning in, here you go. Here's what was said. This statement right here, it just reminds me of, it just makes me feel all too much of Don Wells in the Summer Wells case, the father of the missing 5-year-old out of Rogersville, Tennessee, another Tennessee case that has gone unsolved. And I'm hearing, now it's just rumor, just rumor. I don't like spreading misinformation, but we're going to spread this tidbit of misinformation. I heard through my chat that he might have some kind of connection or some buddy system with Don Wells. I don't know if it's true. But if it is, I might have to go knock on Chris's door and give him the paperwork on Don Wells and ask him if he really wants to be associated with a man like that. Just saying. So this right here really causes me heartburn. And for those that have been here for a while, I'm going to go back over the same information for the new people that are coming in. So Sally Ennis, sent this kind of snarky comment. Chris could have just let it go. Let's be honest. Where's Sebastian, tough guy, right? Like, do you know that I get worse things than that on a daily in my comments section? I don't respond. You know why? Because it's absolutely fruitless, right? So I think he's just I don't know. He just can't control himself. I don't know why. So he starts popping off at the mouth, probably in your house. What person missing a child is going to be acting like this? I don't know. Like, he's supposed to be Navy trained. He would never get away with talking like this in our service. If he did, I don't know how he stuck around so long. I really don't. So I don't know where this behavior is coming from. It's definitely not something he learned in the military. Because in the military, you learn to respect women first and foremost. Aw, thank you, Brenda. God bless you. Right? He's not respecting women. Everybody has noticed that he seems to be directing toward women channels. And when he gets there, he seems to be almost like a parent to them, condescending. Thank you, Brenda. And so it's painting this picture. Long story short, another woman he's arguing with, and he's going into this diatribe of, oh, he's at probably your house. I'll forward this to TBI. And she's like, forward it then, right? Just forward it. Who gives a shit? Go ahead and forward it, man. And then he starts going in here talking about, harassment and what proof does she have? When do you talk to anybody? I mean, what do you think? The first thing that comes to anybody's mind when you're accusing them of something, and the next thing out of their mouth is, well, what proof do you have? What is the first thing that comes to mind? They're lying. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying. As soon as somebody starts arguing with, what proof do you have? Is the first time I start thinking, they're lying. They're lying. Yep. Mm-hmm. I never say that. I justify with reason, right? Not with what proof do you have? I justify with the proof I have that says I'm not doing it, right? I wasn't there that weekend. I don't know what you're talking about. I got thrown into this. I don't have him. I don't know what you want me to say, lady. I wouldn't be saying he's probably at your house. Let me call TBI and send him your way, threatening people. And I damn sure wouldn't be telling people to fuck around and find out. To a lady. I'm a lady. I can't even say it. Can you imagine him saying that to me? I get so tickled about things like that. I don't know why, but I do. I do. Well, hopefully Chris can give me the time of day. We'll see if he does or not. I don't know. I think I'm going to work on him. I think I am going to work on him. I'm going to FAFO. Why not? Everybody else is doing it. If you can't beat them, join them. He's something. But you know what the crazy thing is he's reading and seeing all this stuff online. He knows it's not looking good for him. And he can't control himself. That's the problem. That's the behavior that I'm, kind of looking for when I'm analyzing it. Can he control he can't control his behavior. And the more things are spinning out of control, the more he's trying to control it, and he's not doing a good job because he can't control this train. And he's trying to contain. He ain't containing. See, Seth, this is the thing about Seth. Seth's realized he ain't going to contain anything. Seth realizes this train is going straight through. Seth don't give a shit. You want to tear him apart. Just put his boy's name in the thumbnail. And I'm serious. People are dragging Seth too. We're not hearing it so much on here because people like me aren't picking it up. Why aren't we picking it up? Because it has to be relevant information. It's got to be legit. I'm not coming here just to appease people with their, we do acknowledge that there is a possibility of it, but I'm not going to drag a man that I think did nothing wrong. That's not what I do. Chris and Katie, now we could have a field day with them all day long. I know Nick Barris said that we should, there's no evidence, they did pass the polygraph, although the polygraph is not admissible in court. He did make sure that he reminded us of the admissibility of the polygraph, that he reminded us that Chris and Katie just passed. But he also wanted to remind us we have nothing to really go on, that he could have just walked out. Maybe, putting the puzzle pieces together, maybe there is some water to be held in the fact that, a lot of the professionals were saying that they kept saying they don't know why he walked out the door, and they kept equating that like that Hyatt guy, and I think the deception detective on YouTube. I think that they kept saying, because of the way they said it, they kept saying why he walked out the door, we don't know why he walked out the door, and everything that they're talking is about him walking out the door, and they never understood, and people like Hyatt was believing that it was possible that the parents put him outside the house for punishment. But now we're hearing rumors that he might have been in the garage on a mattress because he was using the restroom in his bed and it was making the house smell, is what we're hearing. Now, I don't know how true that is. Until I can corroborate the information, we have to say that, it's rumor. But it doesn't mean we can't use the rumor to speculate on what it could mean if it's true. And we heard about the mattress early on because of the Nancy Grace show. The Nancy Grace show, she was very keen in asking this question. It comes back to those sources I'm telling you she's got to have. Because she knew to ask that question, and I thought it was an oddball question to ask in the where she asked it in the interview process. And she said, well, have you gotten any new furniture? Or something to that effect. I thought, that was a really good question. Man, I didn't even think I would never even have thought to ask something like that. And I don't know why I wouldn't, but I remember thinking to myself, that was a really smart question, but why did she ask it? And I know that Nancy never really, because she's a former prosecutor. So she doesn't really ask questions she doesn't know the answer already to. I mean, in some senses, of course, naturally our curiosity gets to us, and there may be questions that are going to be asked that, are just curious questions. But this one, she almost seemed to know the answer to me. And I remember pointing that out. And I even think I pointed it out and say, she's asking this question for a reason, because we went through that interview on one of my live shows on YouTube. And I remember pointing, I'm almost 100, I guess almost doesn't make 100%. I'm almost 90% positive that I stopped my video there and said that's an odd question for me, so there's a reason why she's asking it. And he responded with that a neighbor or a friend or something gave him a mattress, and there was a mattress in the garage that they have not used yet. And I said, I was thinking, why would anybody give Chris and Katie a used mattress? I'm sorry, people in $600,000 homes, they just don't get used mattresses. I'm sorry, they just don't. Okay, college kids get used mattresses. Adults in $600,000 homes, they don't get used mattresses. I don't know about you. I don't know what your financial wealth is. I can tell you I'm not financially wealthy at all. When I was in college and I had apartments to fill, I'd take a used mattress all day long. I'm a little older now, okay? We're a little wiser, okay? If I'm getting a mattress, my mattress is going to have nothing but me on it, baby, okay? I'm sorry. I'm not swimming with I'm not swimming in a sea of the unknowns, okay? I'm a little bit older than that, okay? So I don't understand. There's no, supposedly for face room, okay, you've got Chris Proudfoot. He's going to take a used mattress for his baby girl. A used mattress for the apple of his eye? Okay. I don't know. There's a lot of parents out there that would rather take the used mattress and make sure their child had a brand new one, I am sorry. I don't see why a man that lives in a $600,000 home has no problem telling me he's making $30 an hour, why he needs to borrow or have a friend give him a used mattress. I'm sorry. People of certain affluent, okay, I come from, I'm not a wealthy person, but I grew up in, having, silver spoon. We didn't get used mattresses. I'm sorry. It just doesn't happen. No used mattress. Yeah, nothing that can have bugs in it. You want to give my mom a wooden table for a project? No problem, right? You want to give an end table? No problem. Wood? No problem. But a mattress? Something that holds germs and sweat and you're talking about putting his precious child on it? Hell to the no. Mm-mm. You guys know that they're bougie people. I don't see him. Well, I mean, he doesn't really care for kids, so, I mean, I guess it's possible. You know, Chris probably doesn't want to spend the extra $500 for his daughter. I mean, I don't know. Has it ever been looked into the mattress? I don't know what TBI's done. I don't know what Sumner County has done, to be honest with you. If you want my truth, I'm not a person like you get a trophy for participation. Like I'm one of those people that want results. Okay, I'm a results person. I expect results in my own state. I expect results in my own county. Some days I like my county. Some days I don't like my county. But at the end of the day, I like results. The one thing I don't like about Tennessee is the lack of results. In the 4 main cases that we've got covering, nobody, no charges. Summer Wells case, I'm sorry. For us to be sitting here 3 years later with no charges of negligence, no charges of endangerment, no charges of what they did to the boys that have never been returned back to them, no charges for any of that disgusting abuse toward those children, yet the taxpayers of Tennessee have to feed every single one of those 3 heads, plus pay their living support, sucking the life out of taxpayers in Tennessee because of rotten parents, by the way, with a missing beautiful young girl. Yet no charges. I'm sorry. If you have enough to take children out of the home permanently, you better, by God, have enough to charge those damn parents with a fucking crime. Excuse my language, but that should be how it is. You should not be able to go in there and take a child out and not charge the parent with a crime. I think it's lack of due process. And quite frankly, I think the parents have the right to their due process. You're taking their child away from them. They have a right to be before a court. You're telling somebody that they're abusing or harming that child so much so that you had to go and take that child out of that home. If you have enough to take that child out of that home, you have enough to charge that parent. And you know what the difference is when they charge the parent, it gets out of that family court and into a criminal court where it's not a kangaroo court. I'm not saying that family court is a kangaroo court, but it sure can be. It sure can be. Criminal court, you have the Constitution behind you and you have a defense attorney that's advocating for your rights. And if you are not charged with that crime, your children should be given right back to you. If the government's taking your damn kids, you better be charged for it. I'm sorry. That's just how I feel. And I feel like, Don and Candace should have, if they didn't do anything wrong to have their children taken away, they deserve their day in court, in my opinion. In a criminal court. Because let's face it, the only way the Department of Children and Family Services should be able to come into your home and take your children is if a crime is committed, either negligence, endangerment, or abuse. Those are crimes, okay? They're not slap on the fingers. They're crimes. I walk out here and hit somebody in the face, guess what? I go to jail. But a parent hitting a small child in the face and bruising them, giving them a black eye, they can just have their children taken away. No problem. That is not right. That is not right. So, all right, I bent your ear long enough. I just wanted to come on here with the breaking news that I was just finding out about Christopher Proudfoot and this argument that he has on the back of me just making a video yesterday about the stupidity of Katie doing the exact same thing. So we have day after day, Katie and Chris being on social media. They have all the time to search, peruse, look into, comment, FAFO, all over social media, but they can't and haven't gotten out in those woods to search for their son. And as a matter of fact, want to condemn the people that are. And want to put them down for being out there searching. Oh, but no, go out and search. Just don't search near where he went missing from. You can't make this shit up. I keep thinking that the kid is somewhere around that house. And then I keep thinking that that entire area has been so saturated. But I also remember being at different crime scenes where law enforcement literally left evidence behind. And we collected it, called law enforcement. They refused to pick it up until the FBI made them collect it. I've seen that personally. So I know law enforcement makes mistakes. I know they make mistakes all the time. And I try to warn people that, law enforcement is not superheroes. They don't have magic powers. They're human beings that make mistakes. They don't like to admit it, but they do. I just know this boy seems to have walked in that house and just doesn't seem to have any, and the whole thing with the black clothes. I mean, how convenient, right? Head to toe black clothes, black long sleeve shirt, black pants, walked away in the middle of the night. Jeez, so convenient. Just so stinking convenient. It's just irritating. I honestly believe that this child is somewhere on I-40. I've said that for a very long time. I've said that from the beginning. I've been looking at monitoring several different areas. But the main thing that always made sense to me is the I-40 corridor. The I-40 corridor just seems like the most probable place. It's the main thorough through to Memphis. And there's a lot of different places off those ramps that you can go to because it's desolate. And you're talking about late night. So you're not going to have a lot of traffic in that desolate area. And if you do have people are going to be they're not going to be paying attention. How often do you recall seeing a truck on the side of the road down a ramp and hanging out by a lake? You're probably thinking, I've never remember seeing that. But do you honestly think it's never happened? Do you honestly think you've never driven by? People ain't paying attention. So, I mean, there is that. Chris knew every camera in that neighborhood. He stalked it out. I don't necessarily know if he needs to stalk it out. I think just over living there, for the number of years. I think they've been there since, 2019 or something like that. I can't remember when they purchased that home. I have the paperwork. I mean, I looked at it. I just, off the top of my head, can't remember when they purchased their home. But I think just think about it. Just by you going through it in and out of your community, you probably know some things, just by driving, just by, some days you're just looking out your window, your side window when you're not supposed to. It's like, oh, did the Smiths get a new Ring doorbell camera over there? Huh. Maybe we need to buy one, honey. So I think it's just by, probably by just noticing it. But I think just naturally, I think that they would have. Now, if this was a planned thing, which one of my theories is Chris was in Memphis, and the whole reason why he was on the phone with his wife for 3 hours was to monitor her movements so he could sneak in the house because he hated Sebastian that much. That's truly, one of my plausible theories, that Katie has no knowledge of what Chris did. And she really is standing by her man because she doesn't believe he did it. And I just believe that this man hated that kid so much that he was just ruining his life. He didn't want him around. He even knew that if he went to Seth's house, he knew that he was still going to be there on weekends. He was still going to be there an entire summer. An entire summer around his daughter Faith that he thinks Sebastian is going to R. And I'm sorry, I know fathers. And I know what fathers do to predators that want to harm their daughters. It is not a pretty thing. We talk about mama bears on here. We don't talk about papa bears. Papa bears scare me. Okay? Papa bears scare me because they are a wildebeest that will come out of nowhere if they feel them or their family are threatened. And Chris Proudfoot looks like one of those type of Papa bears. I wouldn't call him quite a Papa bear. He hasn't risen to the level of Papa. Just saying. But bear. He looks like a bear. That's my professional opinion. My unprofessional professional opinion. I believe they had cameras. Janine, absolutely. This is an experience I'm going to tell you about. I don't know if I said it here before or if I said it on YouTube, but sometimes I sound like a broken record and I'm fine with it. My father is a master electrician. I grew up on his truck. You know, he was taking me to work with him when I was 2 years old. Back in them days, you could do it. You didn't get in trouble. I don't even know if they get in trouble nowadays, but either way, I was driving on his truck for a really long time. He had just started rolling out this whole security aspect of the electrical business. So this was when the I don't know if you remember back in the late 80s, 90s, those home intercom systems. They were like the Cadillac of, the times, where you could kind of communicate inside the house, outside the house with the push buttons, and it had like a master plan and stuff like that. Well, that was like the Cadillac of the security systems of our times back in the 80s and 90s. And the push pads, kind of like what we have now, but they had the little things all over them. When my father got into that, he got the best of the best system and installed it in his house, in our house. And he did that because he was selling them, right? So he would always want to talk about security systems when they came in this house, seeing this huge master pad, hearing this wonderful music out by the pool, out in the front. You could be mowing the yard and rocking out, from all these speakers. And literally the speakers were on the outside of the house, inside of the house. You could control which rooms that were playing in, if it was only playing outside, inside. The Cadillac of systems. She worked for Brinks. She was an installer of these very systems. You cannot tell me that lady did not have the Cadillac system inside of her home. I don't know anybody that would be selling and installing these systems, not believing in them so much so that they wouldn't install them in their house. And I hear they give them discounted rates for service for their employees. But we have to remember one thing. She had a Brinks truck there. How do we know she didn't uninstall the system? How do we know she didn't uninstall the system and put the parts in her truck and say they were from another client? How do we know she works for Brinks? How do we know she's not in there manufacturing or removing information from her account? How do we know? She's an installer. She would have all the secret top codes to get into everything because she's got to install this crap. She got to set up all this stuff for all the people inside their homes. I don't know. I agree with you. That's all I'm saying. I agree with you. That long 30-minute dissertation is just me saying I agree with you. Giving you a little history of Laura and Betty's life and these security systems. Security systems are so much. I don't know. I keep saying so much better than they were back in the day. I don't know. Because I was one of those nosy children. The sneaky ones that always wanted to know whether I was going to get in trouble or where the presents were stored. Right. So when mom and dad were up there in those private conversation modes, I'd go down to the master keypad and turn their speaker on. I always knew before I was going to get grounded, because you'd always hear it. It's like, ooh, Angela, are you the one in trouble or is it me? I don't know. Let's go listen. Oh, you're going to get it. Oh, you're in so much trouble. You better go clean your room. You better go get those brownie points. You're in trouble. Run, Forrest, run. I love those things. They don't make it like they used to. I don't know. They got the cameras now, but I don't think they have as much fun. You know, those cameras aren't jingling-a-ling-a-linging, right? And you're not being able to listen in like we had Mama's room on tap. You don't get it like that anymore. I'm surprised my father did not clip the wire on that one. The intercom, yes. You know what I never understood is how the radio on those things worked so much better than any radio in the house, and I never understood how in the heck they got such good reception. And now that you're saying that, I don't know where that popped in my head, but I still can't recall how the heck the interior intercom got better reception than my radio. Huh. I wonder if there was an antenna that's sticking out of the house. I don't know. Guys, I had enough fun with you. Rock it out with your coffee beans out. We'll see you sometime tomorrow. I don't know when. I'm up late, so I'm sure it's probably not going to be a rockin' first thing in the morning live, but it'll be sponsored by yours truly, your subscribers here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. So if you'd like to help sponsor this crazy lady called Bullhorn Betty, right up there in the corner is a subscribe button. Have a good night. God bless. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment for your favorite content creator, yours truly, me.